I picked up the load at dusk. A rusted-out carnival lot on the edge of nowhere, abandoned for years. The equipment had been sold off for scrap, and I was the unlucky bastard hauling it to the junkyard. Ferris wheel parts, broken booths, and a single locked funhouse panel, its mirrored surface smeared with time. The old man who signed my paperwork wouldn't meet my eyes, just shoved the clipboard at me and muttered, "Don't stop for nothing. Keep your radio off, and if you hear the music..." He trailed off, shaking his head. "Just keep driving." I laughed it off, but as I climbed into the cab, I saw the look in his eyes. Pure terror. Like he knew something I didn't. Like he wanted to warn me, but knew it wouldn't matter. I should have listened. The back roads curled through the woods, swallowed by mist. My headlights barely cut through it. The world outside the cab blurred and shifting. The truck rumbled on, the load shifting behind me, groaning like something alive. Then I heard it, a faint, warbling calliope tune. At first I thought it was the radio. I reached over to turn it off. It already was. The music got louder, a slow, off-key melody, winding its way through the trailer. I checked the mirror. The funhouse panel gleamed, reflecting nothing but dark. Something moved behind it. I gripped the wheel tighter, forcing myself to look straight ahead. "Just the wind," I muttered. But the wind doesn't laugh. I pulled over. I shouldn't have. Every instinct screamed at me to keep going, to follow the old man's warning. But truckers are curious bastards. I climbed into the trailer, flashlight cutting through the dust. Props lay scattered. Clown heads, shattered carousel horses, a ticket booth rotting with mold. The music swelled as I approached the funhouse panel. My reflection stood there, dim and distorted. Then it blinked. I didn't. I stumbled back. My reflection grinned, a wide, stretched-too-thin smile. Behind the glass, the carnival was still alive, and it was watching me. The air in the trailer turned heavy, pressing down on my chest. My breath came in ragged gasps as I backed away. The reflection didn't follow my movements anymore. It leaned in, studying me like a caged animal. Then it reached out. I bolted. The trailer lurched. The truck's engine roared to life, though my keys were still in my pocket. The air grew thick with the scent of popcorn and rot. I ran for the cab, but the doors locked. The truck jolted forward, dragging me with it. The trailer groaned, its insides shifting, stretching. The walls became striped tents. The broken props vanished. I wasn't hauling the carnival. I was inside it. The road outside blurred, vanishing into inky blackness. No street signs, no trees, just swirling fog and flickering neon lights. The calliope music changed, speeding up, a frantic, dizzying waltz. Shadows moved at the edges of my vision, slipping between the tents. Laughter bubbled up from the darkness, high-pitched, giddy, and wrong. Something tugged at my sleeve. I turned. The clown grinned at me, his face cracked like old porcelain. "You're late for the show," he whispered. The sky above me turned neon, spinning with Ferris wheels that had no seats, only writhing shadows. A calliope screeched from nowhere and everywhere. Laughter, hollow and wrong, echoed through the fog. Then they came. Figures in faded costumes, faces hidden by cracked masks, clowns with empty eyes, a ringmaster with a mouth too wide. "The show must go on," they whispered. Hands grabbed me, pulling me toward the funhouse mirror. My reflection was still grinning, waiting. Then it stepped out and took my place. I slammed my fists against the glass, but it was solid now. I was inside, trapped. My reflection straightened its jacket, tipped its hat, and climbed into the cab. The truck roared to life. The carnival lights flickered, the fog curling around me. And then the audience began to clap. The road reappeared, stretching out into the real world. The truck drove on, its new driver whistling along to the Calliope's tune. My body, my hands, out there, pretending to be me. And me. I was inside the mirror, my face stretched into a permanent grin. A new act in the never-ending carnival. The other trapped souls gathered behind me, their faces frozen in silent screams. The music played on, the laughter never stopping. The carnival always needed fresh attractions, and it had found another. They found my truck 3 days later, parked on an empty road. The trailer was empty. No carnival equipment, no funhouse panel, no driver. Just a single carnival ticket on the dashboard. Truckers whisper about it now. A ghost rig that sometimes appears in the fog, its headlights flickering like carnival bulbs. And sometimes, late at night, drivers hear a Calliope tune floating through the mist. The ones who stop. They never leave. The carnival is always looking for its next act. And the show. It never ends. The first sign was the smell. Rotting meat, thick in the air. Then came the scratches on the trailer, deep and fresh. And finally, the low guttural growl from something too big to be real. Something was hunting me. I had been driving long-haul routes for 10 years, but this was the first time I took Highway 89 alone at night. It was a lonely, forgotten stretch of road cutting through dense, uncharted forest. My dispatcher said it would shave an hour off my usual route, but the second I turned onto it, I knew something was wrong. The road was cracked, the trees loomed too close, and the air smelled wrong, like a slaughterhouse left to rot in the summer sun. Still, I had a job to do. I tightened my grip on the wheel and pushed forward. Miles later, the static on my radio shifted into something else. Breathing. Slow, wet breathing. Then a whisper. "You should have stayed away." A thump against the trailer. Then another. I checked the mirrors, but saw nothing but darkness. The road was deserted. No headlights, no signs of life. Then, something moved in the tree line. A shadow, massive and fast, keeping pace with my truck. I floored the gas. The engine roared, but the shadow stayed with me, weaving between the trees on impossibly long limbs. And then it stopped. That should have made me feel safer. It didn't. I pulled into a deserted truck stop, heart pounding. I needed to check the trailer, make sure nothing was loose. The second I stepped out, the smell hit me again, stronger this time. I rounded the back and froze. The side of my trailer was shredded. Deep, jagged claw marks ran from top to bottom, each as thick as my forearm. No animal did this. No animal I knew of anyway. Then I heard the crunch of gravel behind me. I turned too late. Something massive slammed into me, knocking me to the ground. The last thing I saw before everything went black was a pair of glowing yellow eyes staring down at me. I woke up in my cab, the truck idling on the side of the road. My head throbbed, my body ached, and my watch was wrong. 3 hours had passed. I didn't remember driving. The claw marks on the trailer were gone. But something else had been left behind. A massive, wet footprint right outside my door. I tried the radio. Static. My phone? Dead. The road stretched on ahead, dark and endless. I didn't have a choice. I had to keep going. I drove for miles, gripping the wheel so tightly my knuckles turned white. My headlights flickered. The truck lurched like I had hit something, but the road was empty. Then the breathing started again. Not on the radio. Behind me, inside the cab. I didn't turn around. I forced myself to stare at the road, even as my heart pounded. The mirror showed the impossible. A figure crouched in the sleeper cab, twisted and wrong, its limbs too long, its fingers ending in black, curling claws. Its mouth, if that's what it was, hung open, dripping with something thick and dark. It was smiling. The truck swerved. My eyes flicked back to the road, but the second I did, the creature lunged forward and whispered my name. I slammed the brakes. The truck skidded, the trailer fishtailing wildly. The thing in the back was thrown forward, and I grabbed the bat I kept under my seat. I turned, swinging. The bat hit nothing but air. The sleeper was empty, but the door was open. I stepped out, bat raised, scanning the darkness. Nothing moved, no sounds, just the endless trees and the thick, rancid air. Then I heard a whisper right against my ear. "We're not done yet." I never saw it again. Not really, but I hear it sometimes, in the static of my radio. I smell it in the air when I take unfamiliar roads, and when I look in my mirror late at night, I swear I see those yellow eyes staring back, waiting, because it let me go. But one day it will come back to finish the hunt, and next time I won't be so lucky.